7 hours doing somersaults this past week. So excited for them. As a guy who I've known since sophomore in high school, we've been roommates, teammates in both college and the NFL. If I get married again, Jack would be one of the ushers in my line or one of the groomsmen. Because I love him. So I just to throw that in. So there's that emotional side of it. But I'm not afraid to criticize him like I would my mother. If Jack goes, kicks a field goal on 4th and 1, or throws an interception when they're up 5 with 1 minute to go, then I'd call him up and say, "What are you doing, man? You need somebody to help you with offense." But I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of what the Raiders are doing because there's a physicality about them, Michael. There's a different attitude.
Yeah.
When they used to say commitment to excellence, it was commitment to excellence back in the day. Then it became a commitment to mediocrity. And now they've got a guy back who takes no nonsense. We talked about accountability. He's got a quarterback that is a winner. He's special and he's unique. They've got, with their pass rush is starting to come alive. Their secondary will continue to get better. Their defense isn't anywhere near where it's going to be, and their offense is explosive. I love this team. I just when the Raiders are good, it's like when Notre Dame or Southern Cal are good in football, college, it makes it better. The Raiders are dangerous because they, again, have the big three, plus, with the pass rush and having Bruce Irvin. The Raiders are just getting Carr fully healthy and their offense back. I like the fact that yesterday they won, and they didn't play great. When you can win a football game on the road and not play great football, that tells me you understand how to win, and the Raiders are making this a habit. So I'm a big fan. But, yeah, and I'm just on the friendship and emotional side, I couldn't be happier for Jack and for the franchise, but most importantly for a good friend of mine who's put his time in, and he's right at home from Hayward, California, to be able to coach and win and get them back to the playoffs with a chance to win a Super Bowl when a team that may be going to Vegas, and it's my buddy, it sure is fun to watch. I root for his success, and man alive, is it paying off this year for him.
Well, speaking of that, and it's something that Alexa and I have talked about here, Sean, is early in this season, he was a little bit of a riverboat gambler, making some odd calls, it seemed, at least against convention, but they worked, and you could just tell how the team responded to that confidence that he had in them. This much did some of those other experiences, say in Jacksonville or so the interim jobs, where maybe he felt like, okay, I gotta make this call because this is what they expect me to do, and now in Oakland he can just say, look, let's go for it.
Michael, I think that's a great point, and what that does, short of being silly, like Mike Mularkey's call yesterday when you're battling for a playoff. Now he got away with one, but you kick the extra point.
Right.
And play for overtime, and you don't want to have to win in spite of the coach. And Mike's a good coach, but they were fortunate yesterday. Jack started the season off against New Orleans by going for 2, and they believe. And a lot of times, Jack is one of those. I don't like to use the term players coach because that makes it seem like they're buddy. Jack has this feeling that he trusts his team, and there's a big difference. Look at the difference in the game again when the Texans, even though they won on 4th and 6 inches to go, you get in a shotgun and run a fade route. Now, aren't you telling your offensive line that we're not strong enough or good enough to punch it in from 6 inches out? Jack's team, on the other hand, believes everything he does because it's paid off. Now, hey, we've seen it go the opposite. You do it 3 or 4 times, you manage it wrong, and all of a sudden your team says, what's wrong with our head coach? But when it pays off and there's a believability, I believe trust among players to coach and respect are the most important things you can have on the field, and it's paid off, and he has been a riverboat gambler. But Jack doesn't just go by analytics. Jack goes by feel at times because he was a player and he gets it. You can't do both exclusively, but you can do, both of them with a good mix. And Jack's played it pretty doggone smart. And when your team believes in it, even if you send in a bad play, if the team believes in the play and believes you can execute it, they'll execute it. It's quite the opposite. You send in a play that, this is designed to go great against this defense, yet the quarterback's thinking, I don't like this play in this situation. It's probably not going to work. So there's a believability and a trust factor that riverboat gambler, yes, but also he understands his team, and that goes a long way, especially as you head into December and January, because they believe they're going to win every time they line up, and that hasn't been the Raiders in the past.
Well, this Raiders team is so fun to watch. But, Sean, my question to you is, and we've pointed out a lot of the positives of this team, how do they stack up against the Patriots?
I'm not sure anybody does. There's another team. The key is you hope that you can find a way to steal home field advantage. And I know we saw Seattle go in there and win, and we've seen Baltimore in the past. Excuse me, but that is such a difficult place to play just because of the feeling. There's louder crowds, but you got the best quarterback of all time, and it's getting to the point where it's not close. You got the best quarterback. The best head coach in this league and one of the